Joining us, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. There's some light snow tonight and even more on the way with potential for alert day conditions tomorrow.
So, Alex, what is the latest on the systems you're watching?
Let's show you right now with our First Warn WeatherCam network here in Dodgeville, our Upland Hills Skycam showing snow falling across the center part of Iowa County as we speak right now. Gusty winds. It's cold. I was just out on the patio too, and we can see that right here, downtown Dodgeville, right along 15151 at the intersection. We've got snow. We widen out here. That snow extends west of Madison. It's probably just very close to the station here. Monroe, Platteville, Lone Rock, Richland Center, Prairie du Chien, Viroqua, all likely seeing some snow making it to the ground. And that snow is going to be quick moving through southern Wisconsin. But this is not the alert day. This is just a quick weather system here that brings us a little light snow, a little bit of freezing drizzle, and some slick spots as we go through the overnight into the very beginning of that commute Tuesday morning. But a more appreciable, a stronger storm is coming as we head towards Tuesday night and Wednesday that the First Warn Weather team started mentioning this weekend for snow, windy conditions, and icy roads. We have advisories issued, winter weather advisories north of Madison. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple other counties just south added to the winter weather advisory criteria. When I come back in a little bit, we'll have a fresh look at Future Track to show you where that rain snow line will set up, which will be key to the heavier amounts of snow in southern Wisconsin.
See you in a bit. Thank you, Alex. The number of positive tests for methamphetamine in Wisconsin crime labs is on the rise. That's according to the annual report from the State Department of Justice Division of Forensic Sciences. In 2024, more than 1,700 state crime lab cases tested positive for meth. That is the highest since 2017. The Division of Forensic Sciences is calling for additional state investment into crime labs.
Today, Governor Tony Evers signed Assembly Bill 201. It's known also as Braden's Law. Braden's Law was introduced after the tragic passing of 15-year-old Braden Bone. Braden died by suicide after becoming the target of sextortion. Now, the bill will create new penalties for sextortion crimes.
I was recently asked, what does the signing of Braden's Law mean to me? To me, it means hope. The hope that this is only the beginning of Braden's story, not the end. Hope that through him and the passing of this law, we will reach every parent in this state and further. I have hope that we will take back control from these criminals and our children will no longer be pawns in their sick games.
The bill also provides the victim or the victim's family with payment from the Department of Justice's Crime Victim Compensation Fund.
An update tonight on one local school district's work in preparing for critical incidents. Over the past decade, the Middleton Cross Plains School District has hired a security officer, Asher Torbeck, to find ways to keep all of the classrooms safe. Some updated security measures are their visitor system, their entryways, and also how staff responds to critical incidents.
We want our schools to be open and inviting, but we also need to make sure that we're secure and we're keeping our students and staff safe. So we reduce that down to one entry point within our schools, and then we create levels of security from that entry.
And many of these changes were implemented in schools across the country after the Sandy Hook shooting that killed 26 people in Connecticut. The district is holding a safety update event on Wednesday night at Park Elementary School.
$10 million. That's how much the state of Wisconsin is investing in reducing crime and violence.
Our Arman Rahman shows us how one local organization would use some of the funds to keep kids, families, and communities safe.
Well, we're almost a year to the date since one of the darker days in Madison history, the tragic shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. A month after the shooting, Governor Tony Evers created the Office of Violence Prevention, and now $10 million in federal COVID relief funds are available for different initiatives to do just that.
We can lead the example of what needs to happen nationally.
With his organization, Focused Interruption, an initiative that stands out to Anthony Cooper is the Brothers Against Odds, or BOW program.
We sit down and talk with young men about violence that is happening throughout our community.
He hopes to expand that program and their Leaders of Tomorrow, or LOTS program, done in Madison area schools with grants from the new Office of Violence and Prevention.
But then also our outreach team that responds to on the scene of violent crimes, but then also responding to the hospital.
All of that fit the 5 categories the grants are broken up into: suicide prevention and firearms storage, evidence-based violence intervention and outreach, criminal justice-based initiatives, domestic violence prevention initiatives, and school-based programming.
Every point of it needs to be done, and we also have to be able to figure out ways for more long-term support.
So what do those categories mean? Staff at the Office of Violence Prevention say the grants can be used for suicide prevention education to identify individuals in crisis, including when they're about to buy firearms, safe storage and gun buyback programs, violence prevention, outreach, and safe storage devices for hospitals, crime gun intelligence tools and policing programs, training and firearm access for domestic violence victims and perpetrators, and for schools, implementing or improving threat assessment, and school-based training, mentoring, and after-school programs aimed at keeping kids out of trouble, just like Focus Interruptions, LOTS, and BOW programs.
It's a must that this office continues to get the support that it needs.
Grant applications are due by the afternoon of January 16th.
Armand, thank you. A poll from the University of Michigan says Americans are feeling slightly better about the economy. The survey's preliminary reading climbed from 51 in November to 53.3 in December. It's better than economists had expected, but still lower than the above 70 reading that came back in January.
Today, Congressman Mark Pocan visited the Badger Prairie Needs Network to discuss affordability. He says 1 in 5 children are in living food insecure homes across the country. This comes as the Trump administration passed additional cuts to SNAP, which will impact 700,000 people in Wisconsin, including 270,000 children.
47 million people nationwide face food insecurity. So Badger Prairie Needs Network, other food pantries, it's so important the work that they're doing. And again, 100% volunteer driven is really amazing what they're doing here.
The Badger Prairie Needs Network is experiencing a 40% increase in the number of families coming to them for help. But it's not all bad news. The pantry has recently added more volunteer orientations after all of their previously scheduled sessions were filled for the rest of the year.
Tonight, thousands of holiday lights are illuminating the Healing Garden at SSM Health St. Mary's Hospital in Madison. This year marks the 19th annual Lights of Love fundraiser. Community members purchase red, white, or blue lights in honor of their loved ones. Many white lights are in memory of those no longer with us, and the white lights are, and the red lights are in appreciation of those who are living. Blue lights honor and remember military members and our healthcare heroes.
These lights remind us that love endures. They bring comfort to families, strength to patients, and peace to all who see them.
And proceeds from this year's fundraiser will benefit SSM Health's patients' greatest needs.
The Wisconsin State Laboratory of Hygiene has a new director. Back in November, Rudolph Johnson was named to the position. He was previously at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. There, he directed work to better understand the impacts of a range of chemical, physical, and environmental hazards that veterans may have been exposed to during military service.
One of the things that always caught my attention working at the CDC and later at the VA was Wisconsin. Wisconsin was always there as one of the top performers across the United States. And when I saw the opportunity for this job, I just had to apply for it. It was just one of those things that we couldn't let pass by.
Founded in 1903, the Wisconsin State Laboratory of Hygiene partners with researchers and clinical professionals on disease screening, environmental and occupational health, genetic testing, epidemics, and more.
The feature documentary Baristas vs. Billionaires is set to premiere in Madison, narrated by Academy Award winner Susan Sarandon. It follows Buffalo-based Starbucks baristas as they work to expose the company's union-busting tactics. While explaining in their own words how they're going to win the fight, workers are currently on strike in 85 cities until Starbucks agrees to offer a fair union contract.
What attracted me to the story and what I find so surprising and inspiring is the fact that most of the organizers in this new union that was just set up 4 years ago are young people. I can't think of another union in the country that's ever happened to. And these kids, I call them kids, they won't back down.
Screenings of the documentary will be held at the Barrymore Theater on Wednesday and Thursday. Tickets just $15, and a link to purchase can be found on our website, channel3000.com.
Paramount has launched a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. This comes after Netflix announced its purchase of WBD on Friday. That deal is valued at $82.7 billion. Paramount is hoping to win over Warner Brothers Discovery's shareholders with an offer of $108.4 billion. And nominations for the 83rd Golden Globe Awards were announced. One battle after another is the lead contender for the awards with 9 nominations, while films Sentimental Value and Sinners have 8 and 7 nominations each. Failing to make the cut was Wicked for Good.
I think this was probably one of the bigger snubs of the morning. The second film wasn't received as well critically than the first film.
HBO's The White Lotus led all TV shows with 6 nominations. It faces off in the drama category against The Diplomat, The Pitt, and 3 Apple TV series, Pluribus, Severance, and Slow Horses. A lot of good ones there. You can catch the Golden Globes right here on WISC TV on January 11th.
And still to come, a 10 and 8 package is on the way for America's farmers.
And the U.S. Supreme Court takes up a new case. The arguments being heard that could impact the president's firing power.
And Alex tells us about alert day conditions heading our way tomorrow. All the details just ahead. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Back in March, President Trump fired the Democratic co-chair of the Federal Trade Commission.
And now the Supreme Court is hearing her case. The arguments are centered around whether the president has the authority to fire independent government officials. The Trump administration wants the High Court to overturn Humphrey's executor versus the United States. It's a landmark 1935 ruling restricting the president's firing power. The court's conservative majority appeared inclined to side with that argument.
Humphrey's executor is just a dried husk of whatever people used to think it was, because in the opinion itself, it described the powers of the agency it was talking about, and they're vanishingly insignificant, has nothing to do with what the FTC looks like today.
However, liberal justices warned overturning that decision could give the president unchecked power that limits congressional authority. A ruling is expected this summer.
President Trump throwing a lifeline to farmers struggling to sell crops while getting hit by rising costs. The president announcing a $12 billion farm aid package. He says that money will come from tariff revenues. Farmers felt the squeeze after President Trump raised tariffs on China as part of a broader trade war with Beijing.
This relief will provide much needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops. And it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
And President Trump also blamed his predecessor for the problem, saying inflation under President Biden crushed farmers. The Trump administration's payments are scheduled to be distributed in February.
Well, turning to weather, alert day conditions are once again in the forecast.
So, Alex, when will they begin? What can we really expect here?
They're going to begin. This is for tomorrow's alert day set of conditions. By the time we get to the very late afternoon, early evening hours, really peaking through the night, going on through Wednesday, especially Wednesday morning. We were first to mention that this would be Madison areas to the north. I think that's still going to be the focus. Some snow, windy conditions, and icy roads. And the icy roads are part of the complexity. So is the snow with this weather system. Let's track it. Here we are, 4 o'clock, just west of Dane County, Dodgeville, Boscobel, Viroqua, Richland Center, seeing some snow. By the time we get to the middle of the commute Tuesday evening, widespread moderate to heavy wet snow across all of southern Wisconsin, except for the very far south. See this pink band down here? That could be a little bit of freezing rain. That is also the dividing line between the snow and the rain. And notice how thin it is. We're talking 10, 20 miles. That is the distance where you're going to see significant changes between snow and rain across southern Wisconsin. And it lifts to the north by the time we get to 9 o'clock at night. The center of the weather system moving right over the west part of the state, and then we'll cross towards the south and towards the east. So we briefly may get on the warm side with rain and a little bit of freezing rain. But don't let your guard down. If you were in southwest Wisconsin, just a little bit of rain, a little bit of freezing rain. Take note of how cold it has been for the past, since our big winter storm over the Thanksgiving weekend. We have had bitter cold in place, and those surfaces, the roads, the bridges, the on-ramps, the sidewalks, they are all way below freezing. So that rain will ice things up. So that's part of why mentioning icy roads across all of southern Wisconsin changes back over to snow as we get into Wednesday morning, just at the start of the rush hour. So we could have some reduced visibilities for the start of the rush rush hour Wednesday morning, and falling temperatures throughout the day and strong gusty winds. Here's what we're thinking for snow accumulations where that rain-snow line sets up. And remember, it's a very, very tiny band, 10, 20 miles, that's going to make the difference between an inch to 3 inches just to the north of Madison, 3 to 5 inches, maybe 6 locally to the north and to the east of Madison, and less than an inch south and west of Madison where they break into that rain and maybe a little bit of freezing rain. Gusty winds to boot here Tuesday going on into Wednesday. That's going to blow any snow that falls and anything that's out there around a little bit too. We have winter weather advisories in effect from 6 p.m. Tuesday to 6 a.m. Wednesday morning north of Madison, but not going to be shocked to see maybe another tier of counties added to that winter weather advisory depending on where that rain-snow line sets up in southern Wisconsin. It's complex here. That cutoff is very, very sharp. South and west of Madison, you may see no snow at all. But if that weather system moves just a little further to the south, the snow totals increase, and all these cold surfaces are going to mean icy roads across southern Wisconsin. We got snow entering Dane County as we speak. We were showing it earlier on our Upland Hill Skycam in Dodgeville, and this little bit of snow tonight is going to make for slick conditions overnight to start off Tuesday morning before alert day conditions begin. So we'll start the day with icy conditions. We'll end the day with icy conditions. Fast forward to the weekend, 20 below zero wind chills.
Okay.
Lot to look forward to.
But it's not even here yet.
Right. It's good to know ahead of time, though.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Alex. Well, the Packers won their rivalry matchup against the Bears yesterday.
The team feeling grateful for Keyshawn Nixon after his game-sealing end zone interception. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde with more from Lambeau Field.
If you watch the Packers win over the Chicago Bears here at Lambeau Field on Sunday, you know they secured that win on Keyshawn Nixon's interception in this end zone in the final seconds. What you may not have realized was that Keyshawn Nixon was covering someone he wasn't even supposed to be covering. He saw Cole Kmet, the Bears tight end, open. He knew that Evan Williams, who was supposed to be covering him, was covering someone else and delivered the game-sealing play. Afterward, Evan Williams owned his mistake and was thankful for Keyshawn Nixon, and Packers coach Matt LaFleur today was thankful for Evan Williams taking ownership of his error.
I appreciate that Evan took accountability. I think that's huge. That shows a pretty mature guy, a pretty secure leader that has been playing some really good football for us. And, stuff happens out there on the grass. It's never going to be perfect. But when you see somebody open, and obviously he got a beat on it, and Key made a heck of a play.
I'll say it, he was saving my butt on that play, I must say. We were kind of, all working together, but no, that was definitely my man. But the back kind of came out. I knew Quay was on the back, and he would have been, that would have been pitch and catch if he was able to get it to the flat. He was right in front of him. So I kind of just off instinct, took off and played the flat and was praying that somebody was behind me to make the play on the corner. And sure enough, Jesus himself. 25 comes out the blue and makes a play. I was just like, thank you so much. But, yeah.
The Packers defense will have to be on the same page on Sunday when they take on the Denver Broncos, the best team in the AFC, and you'll be able to watch that game right here on Channel 3. We'll have full coverage leading into the game and of the game itself on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for the newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
He still looks cold, doesn't he? Jason, thank you. Matchup against the Broncos, as he mentioned, 3:25 kickoff. You can watch it right here on WISC TV. They're looking pretty good as a team. As the Badger basketball team's getting started, they're looking pretty good, too. One guy in particular, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. Coming up next, what player got honors of this week? Next on News 3 Now. When you think of Wisconsin men's basketball, you have to mention John Blackwell. He's like the jelly to their PB&J, always jamming when they need him to, earning Big Ten Player of the Week honors this week because of his level of intensity and scoring. In the last 2 games, putting up 26 points on Northwestern and 30 on Marquette, but none of this would be possible if it wasn't for one of his biggest mentors.
Shout out to John Tanji. He was consistent with his scoring every single night, and just different spots. Obviously, when you're top on the scout, you got to find different ways to score, and you just got to be mentally prepared. And then I just learned from guys like that if you're a scorer and that's your job, you have to be consistent with it. I think it just comes and flows. But I'm blessed to be part of this team, and I'm blessed to, be able to score.
Just earlier today, the Brewers were named Baseball America's top 2025 Organization of the Year, while Pat Murphy was named the publication's Major League Manager of the Year. These awards come after a historic year, breaking a franchise record of 97 wins and the Central Division 3 years in a row. We'll be back with the weather right after this.
Tonight, Sigourney Weaver and Mandy Patinkin are on The Late Show. And Wednesday,
Hey, Steven.
Taylor Swift, all new Colbert.
And finally, tonight, of course, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer, but do you know Buddy? That's a reindeer by that name who has a new claim to fame. Officials say he ran away from a recent Christmas event in England.
Oh, poor Buddy. They say that led to an hours-long search involving a drone and police. Almost looks like Rudolph there.
He needs a red nose.
Yeah, Buddy is back where he belongs after rescuers found him on a beach.
That's where all of us want to be right now.
Oh, that's a smart reindeer on a beach.
Can't blame Buddy for that one. We got snow starting to fall out there, right?
Yeah, it is out on the parking lot. We got a little bit of snow tonight that could make things a bit on the slick side to start off tomorrow morning, but this is not the alert day that we have in the forecast for Tuesday going into Wednesday. But be on guard, a little bit of slick, freezing drizzle also possible after the light snow ends tonight. And then alert day conditions take hold as we go into the rush hour tomorrow evening, especially for Madison and areas to the north. Lasting into Wednesday, we're expecting slushy snow accumulations from Madison and areas to the north, windy conditions. All of southern Wisconsin will see icy roads, even if we get some rain tomorrow night. Remember how cold we've been for the past 2 weeks. That cold air, all those surfaces are way below zero, so any rain is going to slicken things up if they are not treated. And if you didn't think this set of alert day conditions was enough for the week, we have another set as we head towards the weekend as bitterly cold air comes in down from Canada. 20 below wind chills we're expecting Saturday morning and Sunday morning.
So do you have more than one pair of red glasses?
I have two.
Okay, good.
I have two.
Good.
I do.
Because you're
I
gonna
had
wear
to think
one
about
out.
that for a second there. I want to throw those though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Chilly weather coming this weekend. Thanks for watching us. Colbert is next.
Next newscast 4:30. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.